Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video, but with a difference. I put out a video at the weekend saying I want to be #1 on the free-to-play challenge. Right now, I've got the guy who is #1, the guy I'm chasing, Bront. Welcome to the channel. How you doing?
Pretty good. Early morning over here for me, but time zones are definitely a bit of a pain. But
Yeah.
it's fun to finally get on here and deal with one of the community pillars in Raid. So
Awesome. Well, I know it's been awesome having you as part of the free-to-play challenge. For those who maybe haven't found you yet, I'll link your channel down below. But yeah, just give us a kind of quick intro how you got into content creation and you know what made you join the free-to-play challenge.
yeah, I've been a Raid community member for a long time. I got into the streaming area where I was on Twitch a lot and hang out with a lot of people, and I eventually started streaming. But I had actually had thyroid cancer, and I actually lost my voice in January of 22. And despite that, I actually had a lot of prompt from people to start streaming anyway. And they said, "You guys know the game. You know the game. We'll follow anyway." So I
Sure.
streamed with text to speech for quite a long time until I could finally
Wow.
actually get a surgery to correct the vocal issues. And now that I can talk again, it's been great. But the Raid community has been absolutely awesome. And more recently, I've also moved into YouTube as well. And that's been going very well.
Oh,
And
nice.
just finally, as part of building the channel, I decided, you know what, let's get in the content creator free to play, challenge myself a little bit. And at the very least, it should be a lot of fun and learning the early game. And maybe
Yeah.
I'll get in the top 20. So, certainly exceeded that.
How long have you actually played Raid for?
Got in there 2021, so 4 years.
Yeah. So about a year after me, I think.
Yeah, I
Um,
got in and Ninja started like 3 weeks later, so right
okay.
around that time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm assuming you're not free to play on the main account, but I don't know that. Do you spend on
No,
your? You're not. Okay. So is this has this been a bit of an eye opener for you in terms of play style?
a little bit. I mean, I started free to play on my main because you don't usually go into these games saying, "I'm gonna spend in this type of game," if you're new to the genre, and I was definitely new to the genre.
Yeah.
My closest gotcha game I'd been playing was Genshin Impact, and I had spent a little
Okay.
bit in Genshin Impact, but the spending in this game is on a different level than Genshin Impact.
Hmm.
And it was more just I was enjoying the game enough where I said, you know what, I can afford to spend a little bit of money. So I got the daily gem pack, and then it slowly expanded spending a little bit, and I've reeled it back lately. But yeah, I spend a little bit here or there. Usually, at this point, it's usually just the daily gem pack, maybe a forge pass, and every once in a while, I treat myself to something cool.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So I guess what I wanted to do, firstly, well done. Like, I feel like I'm playing a lot. I feel like I'm intensely playing this game as a free-to-play player. My main account's like, where did you go? What are you doing? Like, I'm basically barely touching it right now. But not only are you ahead of me, you're ahead of me by a decent amount. Considering I'm fourth and you're first, you think, oh, we should be quite close. We're not really close. So I just, did you have a particular strategy that you set out from the outset to be like, this is how I'm going to tackle it to like stretch the lead as quickly as I can? Like, what did you start off by doing?
Well, I started off actually not worrying about the leaderboards at all for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah,
So my strategy was I picked Kale because I know a lot of people said that Aethel would be good because Aethel can help you in Fire Knight and she's got the weaken. But I still think Kale is stronger in Clan Boss. And I think a
sure.
lot of people forget that his A2 has turn meter boost when he kills enemies, with making him a better campaign farmer than any of the other champions as well.
Yeah,
So I started with him, and I started with Sun Wukong because that gave me two strong nukers and a good presence in arena with his speed aura. And that was my focus, as I was going to focus on getting the arena missions done, which I felt were going to be the hardest of the missions to accomplish. And so far, that seems to have bared out. I
have
originally
missions
was
been your
going,
focus, by the way?
yeah, arena was going to be my focus initially.
No.
So
Has missions generally been your focus?
yes, I've focused on the missions, I focused on the challenges. In fact, I've got one challenge left, and it's the get 5 affinity bonuses is the only challenge I have left.
Right.
And I'm right around where you're at with these missions, where I'm
Oh
getting
yeah.
close to the affinity of light one. I missed because of the rotations, I missed getting a chance to do the Void one this last weekend. But after thinking about it, the level 8 one's going to be a barrier for me anyway.
Yeah.
And so what's waiting another week if I don't have to spend gems to open up a dungeon to
Yeah.
run those, and just be a little bit patient. The affinity bonuses, to be fair, I have delayed myself a little bit. So if you check my great haul out, I did spread myself out a bit.
Ooh, this is
That was
interesting. Yeah, because this is different strats to what I've done. You've probably gone for a lot more points than I've got in
I
doing
didn't do it
this.
for the
Well,
points.
some more.
It is
Um,
it is points. So I think they're like 10 per. So it's definitely more points, but it's not the points I was actually going for. I Stats are so hard to come by in the early game.
mm,
2% doesn't sound like much, but 2% on every champion in your roster is huge.
yeah, across the board. Yeah,
So I figured, you know what, they're and it's not worth that much. I think getting the entire those 4 rows on the top for each affinity is what, 60-ish points, because it's 13 each. So it's about
yeah. What is
60
it?
gold medals.
Yeah, 13. Yeah,
So that basically delayed me by 200-ish medals. So if I had 200 more medals, I still wouldn't be past the level 8.
sure. Interesting. It's definitely something which, because let me just call out my error, I guess, because if I'd just done what you're doing now, I think I would be quite a bit ahead of where I am. So I actually got to this mission, the 8 affinity mission, and I knew that I needed to do that by, I think it was by the Thursday, to be able to like keep progressing with the missions, right, and be on track over here. And I wasted probably 600 gems in refreshing, trying to make sure I did it, and I ended up 8 medals short. So I actually didn't even achieve the goal that I was going for, and I wasted tons of gems. So not only did I not really progress, I mean, I've got past this one now, but I haven't progressed that much quicker, and I've wasted a ton of valuable resources to do it. And I actually think, yeah, getting a fast arbiter is cool. It's cool for a video or something, but ultimately, it's massively hurt me now in what I'm trying to do for the free to play. Because honestly, once we've got arbiter, I don't think it's a big game changer. Like it's good, but you know, I've got Dawncaller that's really useful anyway. Like she's a reviver, she's got increased attack. I don't think Arbiter's suddenly gonna transform my account. So
Oh,
yeah,
I think
I
she
feel
will
that's a big
transform your
mistake.
account in Arena quite a bit, because you don't have a huge speed lead unless you've pulled one that I don't
Well,
know.
I've got Necmo, who it's not to the same level, but he's 19%. Like I think he's the same as this, is he? I know he's less than yours, but
Yeah, so you get
so not
11 more
perfect,
speed in
but yeah,
Arena, which
yeah,
is nothing to sneeze at, but yeah, Necmo at least brings other usefulness that might mean you might not use Arbiter right away anyway on your account, because Necmo's built for other stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of like I pulled Morgaine recently. If you can see, she's a little bit
Sure.
below the monkey right there. Definitely helpful, and I use her and the Monkey King in Arena. I was building up Haikatoon, debating whether or not I was going to 6-star Haikatoon, because she gets a
Right.
bunch of extra speed for that 6-star and the banner, and I figured that would be worth investing in, because I've been focused on Arena, and speed is definitely one of the killer features. And then I pulled Morgaine. It's like, well, I'm going to leave Haikatoon at 50. She's still usable in 3v3, and most of that speed gear
Yeah.
came off her and went on to Morgaine.
And I'm interested here as well, actually. So, is that your only legendary pull in?
Yeah, that's the only legendary pull, and that was Friday.
Yeah,
So, and that's a
but
kind of
you
one of those
do
things like,
have
yeah,
2 geos, man.
I have 2
Like
geos. I have 2 brood lords, amusingly too. Not that he's that great, but
2 broodlords. Yeah, you got a lot of epics though. Actually,
yeah,
got a
it's
lot of
been a weird
epics.
thing. My epics have not been great initially, because initially I pulled, like, Falja was my best epic I'd pulled for a long time. I pulled
Hmm.
Old Hermit Jorg, which
Oh
was
yeah,
great, except
nice.
for I have Tagore, so that doesn't help me that much. And then I
Okay.
pulled Trumbor, who you can see a little bit further down there as well. So it's like, okay, my orcs aren't going to die, which is great.
Yeah.
And then I pulled a 4-star soul for Galek, and I pulled a Galek at the same time.
Right.
So you see, I've actually got him 4-star all the way up to 40. I'm going to build him to 5-star, because I actually purchased the 5-star soul from the shop.
Oh, serious? Right.
And
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so much extra power, and he does damage, and I don't need to invest books in him, honestly. And if he ends up falling off my account later on, that's fine. But my Orc faction wars are amazing right now, and they're earning me a ton
Yeah,
of
yeah.
extra stuff.
And you've also got Creodan, who's a great control champ.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so looking through your account here, without getting like, oh, I'm not going to say you're super lucky. You've had one legendary, and she's decent but not crazy.
Mhm.
I think you've probably got the best epic in the game, but got him twice, which is a decent amount of luck. Did you pull during a progression a chance, or was it literally random luck?
No, it was random. In fact, I blame you for the second Geo, amusingly enough. I
Right.
pulled the first Geo earlier on, and I mean, from a shard pull perspective, what happened is very early I pulled Frozen Banshee, which is the best time to pull Frozen Banshee. So I invested
Yeah.
in her early to 5 stars. She was in my clan boss team for a while. And that was before I even had Alice, and I had a decent clan boss team. Nothing game breaking, but that was fine early on. Alice didn't need to go in my clan boss team because I had Frozen Banshee.
Okay.
So I built her for more arena focused. Then I pulled Geo, which dropped Frozen Banshee off of my list of possible 6 stars. Geo was my next 6 star when I pulled him. Then during the 1+1, where you pulled your Necmo and Kimmy,
Yeah.
I pulled 14 shards and got just a dupe Geo,
Okay, nice.
which was,
I
yeah,
mean, obviously unneeded because you've got Geo already, but I mean, I'd say Geo is more impactful than a lot of legendaries for an early game, just in terms of what he brings from a boss killing perspective.
he's
Like,
actually been helpful in arena, believe it or not.
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
Why is that? What's the
the
arena?
one he effectively is a single turn lockout because he drains 100% turn meter.
Yeah.
And with the reflect damage, you can often target somebody on their champion and literally take them out of the fight, and they will die by the time they're ready to take their first turn because everyone else who might be smacking you and any damage is taking reflected damage back.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
So I don't use him as he's not a mainstay of my main arena teams, but in live arena, he's actually my first pick because
Okay.
if it's a bot, they're going to ban him because he's got an aura and he's the first pick. And if they're not a
Yeah. Yeah.
bot, I can use him live to help control teams. I would not use him on auto though. He's just, because it's single target, the targeting is not great. So he's
No,
definitely
sure.
not an auto champion. But for live arena, I got control over him. I can do an awful lot with him to lock people out.
Okay, so where do you think then? Obviously, and I see you've got 9 6 stars. Actually, I should get my 9th one probably tomorrow. So we're 5.5 weeks in,
Mhm.
and things now start to get a bit more challenging in terms of where you should focus your time. And we were just talking about this a minute ago. Suddenly, most of the dungeons you've probably got to a decent level at this point. Clan boss you've got to a decent level, and it's then about can you make the next big jump, and how do you do that? I just firstly I'm curious, where do you think your lead is coming from? What's been your way to push a good over 1,000 points above everyone else?
There's a couple good ones. I know I sent you in Discord a picture of my Chimera clan run right there. Yeah, that, and I will tell you, this is absolute luck because what happened in this run, you'll see I went it to 62
Wow,
turns.
you're almost max turns here.
Yeah, I made it
Crazy.
to the Viper form, started dying off in the Viper form. The very last turn of the Viper form, everyone died but Ugo. Ugo's passive triggered to block damage. It changed forms. The Chimera wiped, I think, the one last person I may have had standing, and it got I don't remember where it happened exactly, but Ugo got her revive right when it got through the Viper form. So I brought everyone back up for the next form and then was able to run the entire Chimera again. Because otherwise the Viper form is just absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
So, and it's again, I don't know if I'll ever be able to replicate that run again
Well, I'm
with
just
those
curious.
champions built the way.
Yes, you're over
And
double
it's just
anyone
getting
else.
lucky. That one's just getting lucky, and I fully admit that one. It's but at the same time, that's if you play the game right, you can kind of hedge your bets on that Ugo revive because I knew it might be coming. So it was like, all right, I'm going to hold off on using the heal here just in case this happens because it's starting to look bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, it paid off for me well. And then the other one that's absolutely crazy is the Cursed City stuff.
Right. Yeah, this is interesting as well, actually, because I'm on a bit of a roadblock on the Cursed City now.
Well, if you took a
Uh,
quest, you can see how many of them I've cleared. That's hard. And I've
yeah,
cleared 10 on
I'd say
hard.
I've done the same, I think, on hard. Maybe I'm like one less, but pretty similar. I've also not been able to kill any actual bosses, but I've done almost this exact same track, actually. No, I think I've done exactly the same to you on hard. So I wonder if, oh yeah, you've done a lot more than me on normal. A lot more. I've struggled to kill any of these bosses on normal.
Yeah, the bosses are
Interesting.
difficult. I think the Nether Spider was literally a brimstone proc as I died.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I got a 2-star blessing on Monkey King, which was again another lucky thing there. You know, it's been weird because I look at some of these people
Mm.
are getting these legendaries that are insane. You've got people that have got Harimas, you've got
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyrants, you've got other
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't have all these cool champions, but what I've been getting are champions I can actually build on the account easily. They're the champion I need at the right time. I got
Sure.
Geomancer at just the right time. I got Frozen Banshee really early, just at the right time.
Yeah.
I grabbed a Cold Heart at one point in time. The last shard pull session I had, I got the Margain, which was great. I got a Taragi in that shard pull, which was absolutely great. He was my last 6-star.
Nice.
I got a Rector Drath just pulling 2 random shards recently, and I just posted that video recently too. And then I got a Ruella recently. I've gotten a bunch of good
So you've got some
champs
really
that I'm pretty
useful
sure I can build.
champions, like
Yeah.
not necessarily like crazy damage dealers or top tier in that way, but more they're bringing good mechanics to help
Yeah.
you take stuff out. Yeah.
Well, Vergis, for example, is one I built Vergis to a 6-star because I was like, I need to try this ally protection strategy in Clan Boss at some point in time. And Vergis was the champion I pulled with it.
Yeah.
But I also know that Vergis can help me with the Scarab boss. So
It'll
I
be a
actually throw him
solo.
into
Yeah.
Destroy Gear.
Yeah.
And that was going to be a great effort as well. Then I pulled Taragi and I'm like, maybe I didn't need a 6-star Vergis, but you know what? I'll be able to, you know, get through that.
Mm.
I was
Well, we're going
actually
to have the
surprised.
challenge of Bommel as well, right? So actually,
Well,
saying
go
that
into my Bommel
Monkey
team
King is
and look
so
at the
good for
Master
that as
Butcher I
well.
pulled.
All right. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
So
But
actually, I
Vergis,
didn't. He
I'm
wasn't
pretty
in
sure
that one.
Vergis can be like a solo Bommel killer as
Oh, I didn't
well.
know that.
I think you can.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting option too. But I've got a Master Butcher too, so I should be able to use
Nice.
Master Butcher to help me keep alive later on. Obviously, the first 10th floor is not too bad if you can just out
Yeah.
damage him.
But also, actually, one of the strats, Vergis plus Wukong might end up being, especially if you've got a 2-star blessing, might
Mhm.
end up being like top tier because Wukong can keep dying, but he keeps popping up, and you just throw Brimstone on again, and then yeah, you got some good tools. That's the thing. That's what I love about the free to play challenge. Honestly, is like having to deal with what you've been given and push it to the limit. You know, and I'm interested to see what
Mhm.
your resources are like here. You've got similar to me, always under 1,000,000 silver. You've got a few gems sitting around. Are you? Yeah, basically no books.
Yeah, I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of this stuff is I had a bunch of books that I built up for the champion training event. There's a champion
yeah.
training event, so I pushed hard into that. Now the rewards aren't great for it, unfortunately, because
Hmm.
they're
I
a
spoke
lot
about
of
that
it is
today. Yeah,
Esme stuff. But push this stuff up that I wouldn't hate that chaos ore, although I don't have a lot of stuff I really want to use the chaos ore for at the moment.
yeah.
Definitely not mythical chaos ore.
Does this give you a
Gets me
shard?
5 short.
Oh, does it? Yeah. Oh, that's frustrating.
5 short.
Yeah. And are you in a position now? So let's go back to my original question. Like, are you in a position that you're changing your tactics at this point? Like, what's your focus? And when it comes to shards, when it comes to how you're spending your energy, like what are you looking to try and achieve now in the next few weeks?
Well, like, and it sort of had changed even before this weekend. So,
Hmm.
firstly, I was looking. Obviously, we're saving up for the fusion to see if the fusion was good, and I decided early on the fusion was not worth this account going for because between the resources it probably would have taken without even knowing what they were going to throw at us. It
Yeah.
just didn't make a lot of sense to pull for that stuff, but I had a bunch of stuff saved up for it. I didn't pull either of my Sabbathas because I got 2
Yeah.
of them, and that's 7,000 points for Champ Chase. So, got Huntress and Bloodhorn because they're another 50 points each, you know? That's
Yeah.
honestly the other reason I went for them, but it made sense.
Sure.
There's, but I, ended up pulling, you know, obviously during 2x voids, you pull the voids because you
Yeah.
don't have any other reason not to. During this event, it was a burner. So I went for a burner hard because I don't have a burner other than Geo. Now, obviously, I have Geo, so I've got a burner solution, but it is using a Geo strategy on floor 20 is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Sure.
So if I could have gotten a Cecia, that would have been great.
Yeah.
I got a Morgaine, which is very helpful, and I got Taragi, which was very helpful. Now my next focus is going to be pushing into Ultra Nightmare, working Taragi into my clan boss team, and it's probably going to replace Kale. He might replace Sun Wukong actually, because my damage on my clan boss teams, they're very similar, but
Yeah.
I'm also afraid that Kale might fill the debuff bar up too much with all the poisons he's throwing up. So maybe I need to put the Taragi in there. We'll kind of
Yeah. I
take a look
guess
and see.
Geo, Taragi, and then just I guess with Geo in the team in any way, the longer you can live, the better, right?
Yeah.
That becomes your strat in terms of going to, you kind of want one of three really, don't you, for Ultra Nightmare? It's either can I do a 2-for-1 speed tune and hit loads of times really quick and land my debuffs, or can I somehow find an unkillable team going on, or can I last a long time with someone like a Geo Taragi combo and just take the punishment whilst Geo's throwing it back.
Yeah.
So
And the advantage of having
like
Sun
good
Wukong in
tools.
there is Sun Wukong gives me a magic stun target that's not going to be Taragi or anybody else that I'm worried about for the most part.
Yeah. So who did you say you would be, or you picturing as your 5-man squad when you go to for Ultra Nightmare at the moment?
I said it's probably going to be those 4 that I've got in there, and then probably pull out Kale or Sun Wukong for Taragi. And I'll
Yeah.
probably play with it and run like a key with each one and kind of see which one works a little bit better. And it may be again an affinity issue, because if it's going to be magic affinity at some point in time, I probably might prefer Sun Wukong as the stun target, because oh darn, Sun Wukong died and revives himself. It doesn't cost me anything.
True. Yes. Yes. Damn. Yeah, that's actually nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I just wonder. So you don't have a consistent increased defense either, do you? Tagore is doing it, but in a weird way. But he does bring shields. No. Yeah, I don't know. It's
well,
it's
you've got Tagore bringing some healing and Ugo bringing some healing, and then I'd have Taragi with the ally protection, which is some damage mitigation. Plus, Geo has damage mitigation in his kit as well. That's why Geo is so busted as well.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll get decreased attack out of Taragi as well. So it's a major combination of upgrade in tankiness, even if I end up without the increased defense. That might be one of the reasons for me to eventually bring Sabbatha out of the vault to get that increased defense, but then I lose the increased speed.
Yeah.
And, but again, for a Geo team, that may not be a big deal. So
yeah, you might even be better just speed tuning slow and tanky, like consistently getting the right buffs in the right time. You almost actually want a buff extender, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, but this is interesting. It's definitely a team that can do the job. I just glanced at the top of your leaderboards, by the way. What is this team that Lumi's got going on? He's got Helicath.
Yeah, he pulled Helicath like in the first week.
Oh, man. Like, so when we spoke about one of those 3 types of teams, Helicath basically is the team. Oh man, that's a paw and a half, that one. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I ran a on a different account. I ran a unkillable with Helicath, the supercharged Hellcat team, where it is literally Helicath is the only reason the entire team is unkillable. He is an absolute beast if you can tune it right.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm wondering then, have you pushed dungeons in like a significant way?
I've been pushing the, it looks like I'm pushing the Iron Twins, but honestly, I'm doing the highest Iron Twins I can consistently. And on Spirit, I can do 9. I've done 10, but 10's not consistent. In fact, I think both times I've done 10, I like almost died and managed to win and said, okay, I'm not doing that again. That's not safe.
Yeah. But are you
Um,
farming here, or did you just do it as a one-off, got the points, and
no,
then?
I'm farming. You can see I've got no keys left. Iron Twins
Wow,
has been a huge priority for me because souls are
interesting.
such a huge, huge power up. I'm eating those the moment I get them because I don't really honestly, 6-star souls are a curse at the moment because I don't necessarily have the champions to put a 6-star soul on. So I'd rather have a 3-star
Yeah.
soul on somebody than a 6-star soul I can't use.
Damn, that's the first person I've spoke to that is prioritizing Iron Twins. Interesting. And
So, well, I mean, if you look
how
the
has that
souls
done?
I've got,
Actually, like realistically, then how has that done for you? Because obviously, I will buy anytime I see one in the shop for one of my champs. I am buying it for sure. But
Frozen Banshee's got one. Bowsmith Flannan was actually a huge, huge part of my getting to Fire Knight 20 back at the day. I don't
yeah,
use him too much anymore because Cold Heart's kind of replaced what he does. But he's got the
got
turn
done.
meter
Yeah,
control in the A1, decrease speed, and an ally attack. So for a rare, he's got an amazing,
damn, yeah.
amazing kit. And I'm still at a point where I might take him to 6 stars anyway because I still use him in arena, and
It's actually
I can
solid,
see this.
solid for
Oh
Fire
yeah.
Knight. Yeah, big time. Yeah,
In fact, he's got an extra turn mechanic too. If he lands at least 3 decreased speeds with his passive, he can get an extra turn half the time too, which is he's just a really, really good rare.
yeah,
So that's been very helpful. I've gotten to Fire Knight 24 and I can farm it consistently, but it's super slow. And honestly, 20 is a better, more efficient for my account right now because I need gear and volume, not gear
yeah,
and well, I mean, I need gear and quality, obviously, because you want quality gear. But I can use lesser quality volume gear for a lot of my faction wars champions. And that's probably the
yeah,
other place where I really have gained some points with it. I've been doing the rolling strategy, which was actually inspired by other people to roll my food into a faction war team. So if
yeah,
I've got a 4-star chicken, well, they're better than the random 1-star champion I might throw in to try to get a 3-star on an early stage account. And I'm at number 2 on faction wars as well.
interesting. Let's have a quick
Um,
look at that. So you're 376. Yeah, I think I'm at like you're probably at 100 points more than me on Faction Wars actually.
yeah, I
But
think I'm like,
this is the other thing. Like people don't get it.
Mhm.
Getting somewhere first, you're probably like, well, those people are going to catch up, and it's true that they can. But you've had all of those extra resources for all of that extra time, which means that it actually unlocks other stuff for you. Like, getting to Doom Tower early unlocks all of those resources ahead of everyone else, which means that you can punch on and do the dungeons faster and it's all of this knock-on effect, which people don't really appreciate when you're doing these type of challenges. Like the quicker you get some of this stuff, the faster you can start to unlock other parts of the challenge.
not that, but you get better glyphs higher up, and you get
Yeah.
better resources to forge better perception gear, which is the
True,
lifeblood of
true,
the
true.
account right
Yeah.
now.
So is there anywhere where I guess your Ogren tribe will be good? Yeah, 35,
Sacred
37.
Order is doing really well.
Is this what part is this? Is that like 2 bosses down, or are you up to the second boss?
I think I downed the second boss in that one.
Yeah, must do 42, I think. Yeah, damn. Yeah, this is impressive actually. Like I am now on this type of track where suddenly no one who's half decent is food anymore. They're actually faction war champions, and I didn't really start that early enough, but I'm definitely on that path now. Yeah, I've not
Yeah,
got
what
like
got me
these.
started with it was fortunately it was one of the faction war Fridays, as we like to call them, where there's 3 factions open, but
Yeah,
I literally could not get a Shadowkin to run Shadowkin at all. And it
right.
was very early on. I was still able to do all of the quests, fortunately, because I was able to get 2 other factions out of it.
Yeah,
But I saw that and said, "I'm never gonna let that happen to me again if I can avoid
I
it."
like it. Yeah, yeah.
And
When
so what happened
I've
the
had
next
that.
time it came around is I had an uncommon. I 4-starred an uncommon and threw gear on him, and the gear was probably better than I should have had an uncommon, just so he could clear stage 1, because I felt farming stage 1 was better than letting those keys go to waste.
Yeah, like stuff like this again. All of the advanced quest challenges,
Mhm.
getting the 4-star, the 5-star chicken, the books, so important. I've had it
Yeah,
a couple of
I've never
times
missed one
where
actually. It has
the
been really tough with the Faction Wars boss,
yeah, this
but
one
the one time I
particularly.
was worried about that was actually in Ogryn, and I managed to push my Ogryn just enough because I had Ugo, and I think I just 6-starred Ugo, so it was like, "Okay, now that I 6-starred her, let's just make sure her gear is just a little bit better," and then I rolled the gear up on one of the other champions I had, and I manualed it a couple times until I finally managed to get through it.
Yeah,
But it was probably the sweatiest one I've actually had to deal with. But yeah, and since
sure.
then, pretty much there's at least one faction open always where I can do a boss. I'm usually in gold 5. I've obviously just fallen out since that you can certainly refresh and see if there's any fights that are available up there.
Yeah.
Probably
Do
not.
you literally just look for one-man teams, or are you thinking, oh, I might be able to take some of these on?
Occasionally, I can take some of the teams on. Like I would look at the bottom team and then see
Yeah,
that there's a Mikage and a ninja there and say, no, that's not going to happen. But if it's not a speed lead, I will check the team out. If it
sure.
is a speed lead, but it's like a high Katoon, I will look at the team power, and think about it. I've been able to beat teams that I wouldn't expect to be able to beat
Yeah,
sometimes. It's been harder in live arena, which I know you're certainly diving into as well. Live arena has been an interesting option. Unfortunately, you can't go very far back in the battle log,
mm.
but like I've beaten teams with a Galather on them, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in fact, you can see the
So
victory right there. I
you
beat
got
a
a ton
Loki
of unused
team.
medals here. Are you saving for a reason?
I haven't really figured out where I want to use them yet.
Okay.
Probably Hydra, but it's I mean, Clan Boss would make some sense. But Clan Boss is one of those things that's very short-term games, and the moment I don't need them anymore, they
Yeah.
become absolutely pointless in the
I
account.
am doing Clan Boss right now, but again, very short-term vision, and
Mm.
I'm just trying to. So firstly, I was trying to get very consistently 2 key in Nightmare, which I've now done, and then I'm still thinking, well, I don't have the tools to have an easy Ultra Nightmare. So yeah, that was my thinking. But yeah, I could understand why you're thinking Hydra longer term.
Yeah,
But
and a lot of it
yeah,
too is I'm just one of my original goal when I built this account was I want to push this hard, but I wasn't even planning on, hey, if I can get in the top, you know, 25, that'd be great. But I just kind of want to push this hard, do this thing for the experience. I think it'll be kind of fun. It'll be interesting content for some people because it'll be a change from a lot of my end game stuff.
yeah,
And if I do well, that's fine. But what I wanted to do was basically, I guess, many ways, if you've seen how Colred has tried to approach his account, I wanted
yep,
to approach it of yes, I'm pushing this hard, but I don't want to make mistakes just for points. I want to do as well as I can to do as well as I can and leave the account in a good situation when it's done.
yeah.
Other than obviously I didn't unlock the gem mine being the only real major compromise I've made.
And
And
on your main account, are you normally like a high level arena player, or what does that look like?
I'm in gold 3 in live arena. I enjoy the high end arena. I'm doing like 500 million on Nightmare Hydra.
Yeah.
I'm definitely an advanced account. At the same time, like I didn't get a mythical until December that I had pulled from
Oh,
shards
really?
at least.
Yeah.
And of course, in that video, that was an absolute blast because I pulled 4 mythicals on
All
my
right.
account.
No, nice,
So
nice.
it's like, yeah, that works pretty well. And the first
Damn.
2 was a double pull on a 10 pull of
Serious?
Toshiro and
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was it was just absolutely nuts. So that
Oh, I
transformed
bet.
my account just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting too, because like it's one of these things where and it's helped me actually in the free to play. Having pulled Toshiro, for example, I don't have a soul for Toshiro. So I see some people doing billions of damage on Hydra with a Toshiro.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And it's not because my Toshiro build is trash. It's literally because I don't have a 6-star soul for it.
Yeah. That's it. It makes such a difference. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but realizing that having the champion doesn't mean you suddenly can do the stuff you do. Yeah, I forged that from rare materials. That was awesome.
Oh, did you? Damn. Um. Yeah. I
And that's why I've
know.
got Helm Smasher on her too. I got that and said, okay, I'm going to put that on every an Ellis and I'm going to build her with Helm Smasher. I just got her into Savage yesterday,
Yeah.
but I put her with Helm Smasher ahead of time because I had a really good build. Um,
Yeah. So
and
I'm in a similar place. I've just improved my build, and I'm wondering whether it's time for her to go Helm Smasher and come out of my clan boss. But she is doing, because of the 5-star Brimstone, she's doing a lot for me right now.
yeah,
Everywhere. But
mhm.
that's definitely where I want her to go. And at some point she's going to need to become just a pure damage dealer.
Well, that's the luxury of having the Monkey King with Brimstone.
Yeah, yeah,
And I mean, heck, I even got more when I pulled Morrigan. Literally, I went into the shop and there was a soul available for her too. So I got lucky for that.
Nice.
And I went Brimstone with her for now. I think if I'm focused on arena, I probably should go something other than Brimstone. But because I'm still in this, dungeons are more important than arena in
Yeah.
some cases. Brimstone still makes a lot of sense for me on her too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, it's absolutely amazing to see how well you're doing. Not only are you rocking it in the content creator challenge, as I say, like topping the boards with a crazy score, honestly, like 1,500 points more than me is mad, considering how much I played this game. But also when we look at the sort of community leaderboards,
You have to click, oh, there it is, yeah.
yeah, second place out of everyone who's doing the challenge, which is kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts.
The only reason I've got
Honestly,
different point scores on those is because
yeah.
of the monthly points. Basically, I wasn't on one of the leaderboards quite as high on
Oh,
this
okay.
as I
Yeah.
was in the main stuff. So that's why the points are different.
Yeah, yeah. But look, it's amazing to see you doing so well. Everyone should absolutely go and sub to Bront. All of the information will be down below. I guess, dude, any final words before we wrap things up?
Well, I mean, just one thing to all you folks. Obviously, you and I are competing on this at a high level. And I tell everyone this regularly when I do some of these videos as well. Don't compare yourself to us. We both know what we're doing ahead of time, and we're probably playing the game a little more than most people probably should. It's probably
Way
a little
too
more than
much.
healthy. And
Yeah.
it's honestly, this is a game, and I say it every time. In my intro is we're having fun playing Raid Shadow Legends, and it's literally a case of this is a game that's supposed to be fun. And if this type of grind isn't enjoyable to you and you'd rather do it casually and you'd rather find champions that are interesting and level them up, and if you're not making progress and you're having fun, you're playing the game right.
Yeah. Yeah. Play at your pace. Enjoy at your pace. I like that.
Yep.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming on the channel. It's been a great conversation. And yeah, everyone, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.